Inside the TMC Family. I'm Faith Howard Mooney, SVP of Member Engagement at the Mortgage Collaborative, and I am so lucky today because I have with me Alayna Gardner, who is the Director of Revenue at Lodestar. Thanks for doing this with me.
Of course. Thank you so much for asking me. It's definitely fun and it's an honor.
Oh, well, thank you. We had the greatest conversation, everybody
Oh, yeah,
listening to this right before we hopped on here. We were laughing
absolutely.
because we just immediately jumped into let's talk about customer service. But
Mhm.
instead, we're going to talk a little bit. I want you to share who Lodestar is to the people watching.
Yeah. So Lodestar is a national closing cost fee provider. So we automatically integrate into over 10 LOSs and I believe it's 4 point of sale systems to automatically disclose everything in section C, E, and H on your loan estimate form. And we rep and warrant our fees. So if we're wrong, we'll pay you the difference. That's really it. That's who we are.
Fantastic. Super to the point, simple and sweet. I absolutely love that. But now we're also going to get to know a little bit more about you personally. We spent some
Mhm.
time together recently, and
Mhm.
it was fun. It was personal conversation, but I really enjoyed. I was telling you before we got on
Mhm.
here that I usually find a person at a conference that I build a deeper connection with, and at Great River, that was you. And so I'm really happy to learn more of this side of
Yeah.
you as we talk further here. Share with us what your first job that you ever held was.
So I worked at the Blandford East Turnpike Plaza McDonald's in Western Massachusetts. So if you're familiar with
Oh,
Massachusetts, it's between X's 2 and 3 on the Massachusetts Turnpike, which is a 30-mile stretch of nothing but trees. So I worked there for about 6 years. I actually started there when I was 14. And when you're
wow.
14, you're not allowed to touch any of the hot stuff or go in the walk in cooler. So when I turned 16, it was a big celebration that I got to go in the walk in and pull a basket of fries. Um, so I worked there for 6 years. I ended my journey there as a manager, and honestly, McDonald's taught me so much about how corporations are run. It's very structured, very process based, and I honestly really enjoyed my time there.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard it from a few people within the TMC family, but outside of the TMC family, also McDonald's training program is noted to like be a really great learning place for
Mhm.
a ton of people start out there. It's amazing.
It's a great level of knowledge, and they want to train you, and when you do your manager training and all of that stuff, it is really comprehensive, teaching you about food safety, about leadership and all that, and you fully get out of it what you put into it, right? You can coast it
Of course.
100%.
Yeah.
But it is something that it is really well structured and organized, and I think they've been around for a while for a reason, right?
Yeah. Exactly, exactly. So 20 years old, I'm not sure when, but share with us when you landed kind of in the mortgage space and how what that journey was like, how you got there.
Yeah. So I actually spent a long time in hospitality after McDonald's. I worked in hotels. I ended my hospitality career at the Ritz Carlton, Philadelphia, as an events sales manager for the restaurant in the space. But then I applied for a job. COVID happened.
Yeah.
Selling private events during a global pandemic, not the best career move I ever could have made. And so I started applying for random jobs on Indeed. And I happened to apply for this little tiny Philly company called Lodestar. And I interviewed completely virtually. I didn't meet our CEO, who I work very closely with, in person for 5 months because we weren't allowed, like, we
Wow.
were still keeping COVID guidance. And I think the thing that honestly, set me up for success at Lodestar was that authenticity piece of I never pulled my punches because to me, this was a job that I could be honest at. And if I lost it, I'd be able to go to back to hospitality in 6 months, right? There was no question in my mind of that.
Yeah.
And I think being myself in that first year really highlighted to me the power that gives.
Yeah. Yeah, and we were talking about that before we got
Mhm,
on here about just being your really authentic self, something I completely agree with as well.
mhm,
I think that that's how you kind of find your home somewhere.
100%.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Back in the beginning, when you started your career, whether in mortgage or not, is there one thing outside of that maybe that you wish that you knew that
Oh,
you would tell somebody like new coming in today?
into the mortgage space specifically?
Yeah, well,
Oh,
either one. Coming into your career. If you're coming into your career, what's one thing that you think that is maybe transitional into mortgage or
mm,
anywhere that you would think would be important for somebody to know?
ask a lot of questions.
Ah,
I think, and I said this in our conversation before, is I think one of the most powerful things I've learned in my career is that I will never be an expert. And that's okay because there are experts all around me. And I think there's this pressure to become an expert at one thing because you think that's going to be what your career is, right? But in reality, you have to realize what your strengths and weaknesses are. And I think one of the most powerful things that I would tell a past version of me is not only ask questions of others, but ask questions of yourself, right? Ask
mm,
questions of who do I want to be? How do I show up in this room? What does my career journey look like, right? And
yeah,
really think about what you want, and you can only control yourself, right? And as
yeah.
part of that, if you know what you want, that definitely is, I think that's really important.
Yeah. I've always been a person that believed in surrounding, you're not the smartest person in the room, I guess.
Mhm,
Surround yourself with those other people. I think that's great advice for anybody starting out their career, honestly, anywhere.
mhm.
If you weren't in mortgage, what would we find you doing?
Ooh, I think probably still events, to be honest. I think that's the big thing for me is just, I love events, right? I throw a party at annual every year, Sunday night. Come on over. Um, in
Open
Vegas. We've already
invitation,
got a space
everyone.
booked. Um, but I think that's the bigger thing is I loved the private events industry and I worked there for many years. So my career plan pre-COVID was to become a director of sales for a property, right? And hopefully move up the train, maybe work for some of the larger organizations like Hilton, Marriott, or even switch to the planner side and work for a company as just an event planner, right? Um, I think that's where my career would have gone if COVID hadn't have happened, I probably would still be doing that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that was kind of a pivotal time for everybody, I think, but what a
Mhm,
delight for us in the TMC family and in just in our industry in general
mhm.
to have you have joined us. What last question? You've been in the TMC family for a while now. What is
Yes.
what is your favorite? I know we love having you, but what is your favorite thing about being in the TMC family?
Oh, I think honestly, the TMC family is really, I think, the thing I was missing the most, when I came into the industry. So I was a part of an organization in my past life called Meeting Professionals International. It reminds me
Oh,
a lot of TMC
yeah,
in just the structure, the organization, all of that. And I think it was really that sense of it's a sense of full community, right? Everyone is there to help each other succeed, regardless if you're on the lender side or the vendor side, right? It doesn't matter if someone's a client or not. They'll give you feedback about your product. They'll give you honest opinions. They'll tell you about the industry, right? And I think that's the thing that's the most powerful is that sense of community, right? Like we got drinks last week with one of our TMC members that's local, right? They're not, you know, and I think that's the most important thing that we can give each other at the end of the day is community strengthens us all long term.
yeah,
It's not about where someone is today, but it's about where they're going.
yeah. Well, because nobody leaves mortgage, number one.
Exactly.
People are like they try to get out every once in a while, but nobody really leaves mortgage, and so those relationships are just so powerful. to have, even if they're not a business relationship in the beginning. People work with people that they like to work with and that they like, for sure.
Mhm. You never know where someone's going.
You don't. You don't. It has been such a delight to talk with you. It makes my heart really, really happy about what you said, because that really is the essence of who we are trying to be, is that
Mhm.
resource for people and a community of people who just really want to be stronger together. So
Mhm.
that makes my heart really happy. It's been a delight doing this with you today. I
Oh, it's been so
appreciate you
fun.
so much, and hope that we get a chance to hang out together soon.
Yeah, for sure. I'll see you in Boston.
Sounds
We're really excited about that. We've already got our tickets for the baseball game. So,
Yeah, yeah, it is gonna be, I think. Well, you tell me afterwards, because you're an events person, but I think it's gonna be a really good one.
I think it's
So,
going to be great. And we've got our one team member. We are bringing a Yankees fan to a Red Sox game. I'm so sorry, but it's a bucket list game for him. So we get to check off one of his items. So I'm really happy about that.
you are not the only one. We're gonna have a good mix, I think, in the crowd. There are some other Yankee fans who I know are attending as well. So,
Yeah, it's going to be.
friendly competition, always
Yeah,
welcome.
exactly. We're bringing a Red Sox fan too, if that makes it any better.
Balance it out a little bit.
Exactly.
Well, it was delightful talking to you. Like I said, I hope that we have a
Same.
chance to hang out sometime soon.
Absolutely. Yeah. And thank you for having me.
Of course.